Now we must take up the most important dimensions of any religion. It's a moral codes. Now, before we go further on, you may pose me a big question. The question is something like this. Now that you have the scientific religion has disposed of the supreme power or the God from the purview to deliver good and bad, how can you ensure that morality, honesty, decent behavior in any society? That's a question. For this, I would like to respond in the following way. The present world consists of 75% of the people who follow the major conventional religions like Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism. That's about 75%. Another 10% of the people follow small religions like Judaism or Sikhism, Zoroastrianism, Shintoism, Jainism, and even Tamilism also. They are all small fragments, one or two to 3% in the world. And then about 15% of the people are total non-believers in any of these conventional religions. Now, according to the Pew's report, Pew is an organization which gives us statistical information about so many social problems, economy. For example, in the recent corona invasion, they gave a very detailed account, the statistics of people who died in USA, who died in India, who died in Pakistan because of corona infection. Like that they are very professional people to give statistical information on any aspect or any sociological or anthropological issues. They have given a report about 10 countries on religious index versus crime index in these countries. I have listed out a few of them. If you can see, the first 5 countries are very religious, starting from Venezuela, which is a very good Catholic country. 80% of the people are very religious. Like that, you have Israel, which believes in Judaism. Iran, almost everybody is a large majority of them are Muslims. India, most of them are Hindus. Pakistan, most of them, 70% of them are following Islam. Now, if you look at the crime index for all these countries, it varies 40%, 50% like this. And let us take the average of all these countries. This is about 50%. The crime index is 50% for all 5 countries on the top, which has large majority of the very strong believers in different religions. The next 5 countries like Sweden, Iceland, Czechoslovakia, Japan, and China, these are the 5 countries who have very small proportion of people who believe in any of these conventional religions, or it consists most of non-believers. Their crime index, there you can see the average religious index for all of them, all the second batch is about 22%. Then, what about the crime index? If you take the average of all the crime index for the lower 5 countries, it's about only 30%. That means, compared to those who are strong believers in some religion or another, the non-believers are having smaller crime rates. In those countries, the crime rates are far below, 70% less than the countries which have strong faith in some god or another. That means the strong religious faith and criminal behavior can coexist. Not only that, the fear of God does not deter the individuals from committing culpable crimes. Sometimes some people do believe and they behave very well, but a majority of them do not. They believe in God, but they also commit culpable crime. That's what it means. This is a solid statistical fact. Leave alone the statistics. If you have lived in any part of the world, say in India or any other part, you will see you will all come across most of the people are very religious here, either in Hinduism or Christianity or Islam, whatever it is. But there are criminals in among them. You will come across people who are really bad criminals in all among them. There are very good people who believe in some God and behave very well also. That is also true. But they are distinct minority. That's the point which we want to emphasize. What we have seen is a statistical information which has been elucidated after considering a large number of people in a country, interviewing or committing or connecting to them and getting information. All these are representative or average behavior of the people of a country. Apart from this one, in our everyday life, we could have easily come across people who are strongly religious, going to many temples or churches or mosques. They also commit heinous crime. We have come across. And many people who don't believe are very ordinary people. They don't make any serious crime also. Both are true. In fact, what is much more realistic is, in a practical everyday life, it is not the piety which makes people moral or keep away from crime. It is the fear of the government or the police. It is the fear of jail and not the hell that makes the people behave well. In any country, whether Iran or China, murder and theft bring punishment given by the government and not by God. In addition, in many societies where the social bonding is very strong, the social stigma plays an important role. This could be easily observed in a small villages. I come from a very small village where almost everybody is known to each other. Because of this one, a criminal or a prostitute cannot stay in that village. A criminal who has done a theft, gone to the jail, and when he comes back, he cannot face his parents or his relations. A prostitute, non-prostitute, cannot be invited for any auspicious function like marriage or any celebration. She would be always kept away. This kind of social stigma makes a very great impact. At least 25% of contribution for moral behavior in small community takes a credit for this one. Third, it is indeed true, fear of God plays another 25% of contribution. That is a fear of karma, day of judgment, heaven or hell. All these play definitely some role, 25% at least. The way I can give a example is, suppose I have done something good for a very poor people, he or she would give me a blessing that I will live long and my children will long and I will have heaven on my rebirth. This is what they will give. On the other hand, if I have done a serious crime on them to which they cannot retaliate, the only thing that person would do is to give me a big curse, saying that I will go to hell. If not me, my son, my daughters, my generation will get some kind of incurable disease. That's a kind of curse they would throw at me. I would be terrified for that one. all these have some importance, all these have different proportion. These are three broad classifications. From the scientific point of view, only the last 25% gets cancelled because we insist all moral laws ought to be made by men and for men and not by any non-existent superpower. The fear of God must be replaced by another concept which is called moral conviction or commitment to the common welfare. What it is, I should explain in the next lecture.